Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful morning. And today I would like to go over the XRP price chart. So, from where we last left off, we got somewhat of a move up here for XRP. We know what's been going on. We've been in this consolidation, since July 20th, and we've just been grinding sideways. We got a takeout of the low down here. This was surprising for XRP because it breaks traditional structure of the consolidating triangle, but I will show also in this video how XRP BTC did stay in its consolidating structure. So as far as where we left off on the shorter time frame, um, we talked about this potential head and shoulders right here. I classified it more as a double bottom, but we just did a conservative projection here, and that is one happy looking head and shoulders right down there at the bottom because you did make target here just recently. You got a run up, and now you're making consolidation against the overhead grind line right here. So that would be along the top of the structure, and you know, we did just make target on this inverted head and shoulders. So really, we could expect actually here a slight pullback. Now I'm not saying that's going to happen because of where we are for XRP as far as the technicals go. We're pretty much in the macro breakout going into the third phase, third fractal. We're ready to go. We're picking up speed. We're almost getting to that blow off point, but there was still indecision around these levels here. Of 2.8, a lot of orders were collected. You got a thin trading weekend right here for Saturday and Sunday of the 6th and the 7th, and you never came back down to these areas and filled out any clean price action. Everything moved on low liquidity that weekend. You got your move up here, making target for this inverted head and shoulders. You're against the grind line. It's possible you might get a sucker move here, where you come up here, kind of like fake a breakout, boom, and then you kind of just come down. It would only take a couple days, possibly. I'm just saying a possibility. You could come down back to these areas and fill these areas down to 2.79, but I wouldn't expect you to go much lower than that at this point. Um, XRP also just has this extremely explosive nature, so if we get a steepening parabola here out of this structure and it's the continuation of the original move, pull back and boom, you run like normal. Let me zoom out a little bit so you guys could really see what that would look like. So you would get some jogging up here, and then you would just never come back down. Boom, breakout. This over here on the left-hand side was actually from a traditional XRP consolidation where the lows were higher for each wave. This was a proper XRP consolidation, and that's why I believe that this move up, this was just a pullback in this larger consolidation. And this next move up will be the continuation of that move with the added power of this fractal inside of it. And I think we know what XRP does at exactly the right moments. September, October, notoriously, the big bull run moves have always happened in those 2 months, for every single cycle. So we're right there in that same window, all macro factors aligning, and it's possible we just push out here, but be wary for a little back test. We know where we're at. We're sitting here and we're about to flip to optimism if we get some kind of break. And then that's when potentially things could heat up and people start piling back in. Right now, on a line chart, still doesn't look great. Um, we're kind of just moving sideways. We're in a range. I'm happy we at least got back up here. We got saved from that crazy downside that could have came here. So I'm surprised actually how high we held here. I'm gonna go to XRP BTC. We're getting a little bit of movement today. Not much. Hang tight. We're just relaxing, you know. This thing hasn't broken out yet. I'm going to reiterate that. We talked about this structure a bunch of times. XRP, BTC. We can see that you did hold higher lows here. So you had a low there, higher low again. You did hold this area and now you came back up here. Just like we talked about, now you're in the middle of this funnel, and that's a lot safer, you know. There's a lot safer in this funnel, and you have a lot more potential in the middle here to make a move upwards. If you just hang out down here too long, that was the decision point. Because if you hang out down here too long, you can drop down, the wall gets taken, and boom, you know, you gotta wait. So we did get a move to the funnel, but this has not broken either way yet. You know, we still don't know, but I'm gonna make an educated guess and say it looks like that, but that is still yet to be seen. We would know confirmation of that if we get a break of the 2776, and we know we're breaking down if we get a run of about 2477. So we know where we're at. We're just waiting. We're in the chop zone. This is still a chop zone. If you guys know XRP and you've been here for any length of time, you would know that this is the exact XRP consolidation structure it makes, and this is the choppiest, most boring part before you get that explosive move out that catches everyone off guard. So we're waiting. We're gonna see if we can get that move, and I definitely think it's a possibility in the coming days. Time frames are just getting shorter. I mean, what is this? Like a month, you know? We're ready to go. Let's go. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day.